friends and those who shared this life of Michelle. Good evening. I am Elcid Pangilinan. I am the Vice President of the Chevening Alumni Foundation of the Philippines, or CAFP. We belong to the community of alumni of the British government's scholarship scheme. Just like Michelle, we spent 1 year of our lives to hone our skills to become leaders in our own field. Michelle took her Masters of Law at the University of Wales, Cardiff, in 1994-1995. Michelle specialized on the legal aspects of marine affairs. When I was informed that I will represent the Chevening alumni and give a few words, I hesitated. The last time I did something like this was during the funeral mass for my dad. He passed away a few months before I left for my own Chevening scholarship. As I recall, the main message that I shared revolved around the verse from the Gospel of St. Matthew, "Well done, you good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of our Lord." Michelle meant so much more to us than just a member and a trustee of the association. She's very supportive of our causes. She gave a lot of herself, her time and resources, and so much more. She was a speaker on a forum on transport where she shared about the RoRo industry and how it will alleviate the problems of transporting people, goods, and resources and help build the countryside. We serve at the board of CAFP, and we work closely with the embassy, especially during the tour of duty of Ambassador Asif Ahmad. Please allow me to read to you the message of Congressman Ron Salo, the President of CAFP, which I believe reflects who you are, Michelle, to all of us. Dear Attorney Michelle, I am enthusiastically looking forward to our Chevening gathering this Christmas. I fully recall the fun when you hosted our first Chevening Christmas celebration at your lovely family house. It was such a treat. The sumptuous food, the vibrant Christmas spirit, and the great hospitality. Prior to that, when we were still trying to organize CAFP, you gladly offered to host one of our organizational meetings at the library. Your bubbly personality and vivacious spirit had made our meetings and gatherings lively and worth reminiscing. There was so much energy and life with you. There was no dull moment when you were around. I've personally witnessed how you really desired to make our organization successful. More than that, I've personally witnessed how a good person and friend you were. Alas, this Christmas, we won't anymore savor the warmth of your company. We won't anymore hear your stories of your adventures, nor your witty jokes, nor your infectious laughter. We won't anymore see your forever young-looking face and animated spirit. You surprised every one of us without any hint, you left to be with our loving Heavenly Father. Thank you very much for your support to our organization and for your friendship. We shall certainly miss you. Rest assured that our shared vision for our organization and for our country will continue. With our loving thoughts, Congressman Ron San. In closing, let me share with you these words from a children's song, which Judge Amife Fidel Reyes, another member of ours, shared. Come, little leaves, said the wind one day. Come over the meadows with me and play. Put on your dresses of red and gold, for summer is gone and the days grow cold. Soon as the leaves heard the wind's loud call, down they came fluttering, one and all. Over the brown fields they danced and flew, singing the glad little songs they knew. Cricket, goodbye, we've been friends so long. Little brook, sing us your farewell song. Say you are sorry to see us go. Ah, you will miss us, right well we know. Dear little lambs in your fleecy fold, mother will keep you from harm and cold. Fondly we watched you in vale and glade. Say, will you dream of our loving shade? Dancing and whirling, the little leaves went. Winter had called them, and they were content. Soon, fast asleep in their earthy bed, the snow laid a coverlid over their heads. As I told those who called me up recently, my regret is that we never had that lunch or dinner we were planning to have with Judge Weng, another member of ours, and I think a classmate. Our offices, Michelle and myself, our offices were literally on the same block, and yet we were unable for whatever reason. Farewell, my dear friend. Well done, you good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of our Lord. Maraming salamat, Michelle. I'd like to introduce my Sarah.
Of course, Michelle, actually, she's looking at me. I'm so happy to see her again, even in the picture. Michelle is one of the very few persons that I really admire. Michelle, have another great adventure in your next journey in heaven. To the family and friends of our dear Michelle Basco, or Elishim, in her Facebook. At first, I thought there was somebody impersonating her, but it was her pala. And in behalf of our Chevening alumni family, thank you very much, Michelle. I met Michelle at Chevening gatherings. She was one of the most active alumni, having a vision of setting up the first Chevening Alumni Foundation in the Philippines. In the whole world, there are, I think, 3,300 scholars for 30 years. And the Philippines is lucky to have a Chevening Alumni Foundation because of Michelle. An alumni group that will share their talents and energies to the Filipino people. And we succeeded in setting up that foundation because Michelle was one of the advisors and the very first trustee of that association. I think there were only 5 of them who were always there. Joel, Judge Weng, Elsie, another one siguro. 5 kayo, no? Palagi. And Michelle was one of them. She was one of the pillars of this organization. I saw her at first as an intimidating lawyer, like me, but as soon as she opened her mouth, I was pleasantly surprised when her personality showed a happy and warm person. We instantly became good friends, and I followed all her travels as far as Tan, she said, Tajikistan, Kazakhstan. The Silk Road was one of the few untraveled destinations, but she managed to go there. And according to Joel, even as far as Antarctica. That's how adventurous she is. And she had so much zest for life, and that is so inspiring. For her, the world is an oyster. It's a never-ending fun. Even if sometimes I'm wondering, Michelle, where do you get all this happiness and energy? I think from her mom and her family, because her brothers and sisters are, and pamangkin, and even the dog, no? The pets are her inspiration. And when he came up with a program called Traveling Bangsamoro, Sustaining Peace in Mindanao, after the Mama Sapano incident, she and Joel, of course, and C, were amongst the first to volunteer to go to Zamboanga to help me implement the activity for peace. Back then, terrorism and Zamboanga siege aftermath was very real. But brave and helping as she was there. We successfully met the people on the ground. There, Michelle heard firsthand the plight of the Moro men and women. She saw grown men cry for justice against discrimination and poverty. I saw her compassion, her empathy, and she was likewise in tears. That's where I saw her real beauty, her heart. I told myself I'm not gonna be emotional. Her heart full of love and understanding. Bukod dito, sa sandaling pagsasama namin sa Mindanao, of course, matagal na po kami sa swimming, siguro mga 5 years or more. Napakarami pa ng aming pinagsamahan. Mula sa pagbuo ng aming asosasyon, hanggang sa pagbuo ng mabuting samahan ng bawat isa. Hindi ka namin makakalimutan, kaibigan. Marami kaming natutunan sa iyo, sa iyong kwento ng iyong buhay, napasaya mo kami at napatawa. Alam ko na sa susunod na iyong paglalakbay, higit pa rito ang iyong magagawa. Paalam mo na. Panantiin. Sana ay magkita tayo muli. Maraming salamat po.
Before I introduce myself, I would like to share with you a joke. Michelle, Anna, and I we were in this one Viber group, and we always shared jokes. And this was the last joke I posted in our Viber group, because I posted this in September 26th. Of course, immediately Michelle said, "Wahaha." Okay, and then I said, "LOL," and Anna said, "LOL." Okay, so that was the last joke I posted in our group. And the last joke that Michelle posted is for all of you gentlemen here. Okay, so for the single men, you're called Pumas. For the men in a relationship, you're fat. You're Pumba. You know, the baboy damo. Okay. Okay, this is Michelle's philosophy in her travel. This is her on her Instagram. Anybody who amongst us are Instagram followers of Michelle? Not a lot. So this is very important, because in the end, you won't remember the time you spent working in the office or mowing your lawn. Climb that mountain. Okay, so the second philosophy of Michelle that she posted on her Instagram: of all the books in the world, the best stories are found within the pages of a passport. Hindi ba? Okay. And Tita Merle, this is for you. This is why Michelle is single. Don't marry, save money, and travel. Okay. So this is the overall philosophy of Michelle. I'm sure you agree. Okay, so regret for the things we did can be tempered by time. It is regret for the things we did not do that is, I'm sorry, the screen is bad. It is regret for the things we did not do that is inconsolable. We all agree that Michelle did not have any regrets. Diba?
My name is Lucille. I live a few streets down the road from the Basco residence in Ayala, Alabang. I met Tita Merle way ahead now from Michelle. I met her at our block grocery. Are you familiar with the block groceries? Okay. I met Michelle in Facebook. We were members, we were not FB friends at that time, of this Facebook page called Ava in the Loop. It's spelled with a P, but I pronounce it without the P. Why? Because, you know, loop is the place where people privately relieve themselves in. Yes, that is the page where Ava residents, who amongst here are Ava residents? Is your hands, don't be shy. Okay. So, this page is where Ava residents relieve themselves of their anxiety regarding lost dogs, lost cats, poo in the park, and traffic. Okay, traffic. So, that was in 2015. Because of traffic, the issue of building a gate at the end of San Jose Street resurfaced yet again. I am staunchly anti-gate, and I made that clear on the loop. I noticed this member named Ele Kim Oksab, who also did not mince words expressing his opposition. Yes, I thought this Ele Kim Oksab was male. I thought he was named after some obscure character in the Bible. So, during those times, we found ourselves, Ele Kim Oksab and me, we were bullied, pilloried, and finally we got booted out of that Facebook page. It's the loop. Thank you. Goodbye. Okay, so when we realized that the gates were seriously taking shape in the minds of our village association board governors, we anti-gates assembled, sat down, and discussed strategy. There, I finally met Ele Kim. I was so happy to discover Ele Kim was Michelle. We hit it off immediately. We became fast friends. Michelle further cemented our friendship when she pulled me in to become one of the 3 members of this Viber group. Michelle, Anna, and myself. We call our Viber group the 3 Lovelies. Walang kukontra. Okay. So our tagline, beauty without brains is nothing. You agree? Yes. Okay. Of course, Michelle. Anna has not been with us in the last 2, or this is the 3rd evening. She's not been with us today because her brother died the day after Michelle died. Her brother is Carlos Celdran. You can just imagine the immensity of the grief of Anna when she lost her dear friend Michelle and her brother at about the same time. Anna and Michelle go a long way back because they were batchmates in San Agustin. May I share with you Anna's short yet sweet tribute to Michelle addressed to her CSA batchmates. Dear batchmates, this is Anna talking to her batchmates. Thank you so much for your condolences to my brother's passing. I was traveling when I heard the news about Michelle, and shortly thereafter, Carlos. It was so difficult to wrap my head and my heart around what happened. Though I have known Michelle for a long time, I've only gotten close to her in recent years. We message each other several times a week, updating on what is going on in our lives. I so admired her sharp wit and fierce convictions. I reveled in her Facebook and Instagram posts, traveling vicariously through her. She loved 1920s fashion and it really suited her. She danced beautifully and painted purposefully. I will truly miss my vodka sipping, caviar loving, I don't care what people think of me friend. Close quotation. Michelle, Anna, and I became part of the core group that opposed the gates. Some villagers call our group the pathetic, the selfish 1%. Correct. There are 5,000 lots in our village, and there's only about 50 of us who have publicly, openly expressed our opposition to the gates. Okay? I'm sure you've read, Michelle has been in the papers also about the gates. Okay. We also have a Viber group exclusively composed of residents of our district who oppose the San Jose gate. We call ourselves the San Jose Wall Defenders. When Michelle posts something on that group, each time, everybody sits up and listens. She was the voice of our group. In our group, Michelle was one of 4 lawyers, our main strategists. We call them the Ramin. R stands for Roger, A for Albert, MI for Michelle, and N for Nelson. Of the 3 male lawyers, one is a professor of corporate law in the UP Law College of Law, and one is of counsel of CICIT, and the other is a partner of CNG Law. He's here now. I'll introduce him to you later. They have never expressed it, those men have never expressed this, but I know Michelle was the glue that kept Ramin cohesive and together. When we learned Michelle died, one of those lawyers lamented privately, "What do we do now without Michelle?" May I pause for a moment and read to you this tribute from Albert Yu Chang, partner of CNG Law. I texted him at 2 o'clock in the morning kanina, and he sent me this tribute at 4:30 in the morning. In short, we haven't slept. Okay, so our indispensable Michelle. As a private law practitioner, I learned very early in my career that lawyering is a collaborative effort. For any legal team to succeed, not a single member should be indispensable. There is no room for one-man bands in any major lawyering endeavor. In Michelle's advocacy for competence, good governance, transparency, and rule of law in Ayala, Alabang, she, being a lawyer, quickly became a part of a small volunteer legal team of 4 measly lawyers that was formed because the advocacy required a collaborative effort that cannot be served by a single lawyer. Michelle was a strong contributor. As a lawyer, she was one sharp cookie. Although she was a maritime lawyer by trade, she looked into and worked on every legal issue and in whatever area of law that faced us without fear of any uncharted course. Beyond the work she put in, she generously shared her vast network of contacts in the legal profession, in the industry, in the academe, and in government, when internal resources were not enough. Yet she did not stop at the level of analysis or strategy formulation. Michelle was a doer, never too busy, never too tired or afraid to research, go through documents, sign documents, make phone calls, assert our positions, and show up wherever, whenever the advocacy took us. In one low point in our work, Albert asked her, "Don't you ever get tired?" And Michelle says, "Sure I do. Sometimes I just lay low for a while, but then I eventually get rejuvenated and bounce back." And Albert adds, "With twice the passion, determination, and conviction." On that fatal day last Sunday, when she was traveling, just a few hours before that acid stroke, Michelle was responding to Viber messages in her usual prompt, insightful, and passionate self. Little did we know that it would be our last exchange. Since that day, the team has been stunned in disbelief and saddened beyond compare. And then it dawned on Albert, dawned on me, that while I have spent some 20 years as a lawyer in an environment of working in working in teams where no one is supposed to be indispensable, I have in this advocacy found myself in a collaborative team like any other, except that there is, in this case, one member who, for the void she has left, might in fact be indispensable. As we begin to ask, who will do what she used to do? Who will have her courage, her passion, her focus, her contribution of human resources and time? If we can pick up the pieces and move forward the way we are sure Michelle would want us to carry on, it is because Michelle will, with her untimely departure, inspire us to be what she was to all of us. And as we would not want to disappoint her or shortchange her for her immense contributions, if only we could help it. And we will miss Michelle at a very personal level. Her contagious laughter, her delightful stories, her delicious stories, her fierce loyalty to our cause, and her very positive presence in our lives. And when we find success in our continuing advocacy or in the in-betweens, we will remember you and will raise our glasses in your honor, share with you our joy and laughter, and once again wish that you were here with us, even for just another moment. Thank you, Albert. This is Albert. Can you stand, Albert? So in our advocacy against the gate, we have this thing called Inday power, women power, girl power. We women, we make things happen. We women move things in the village. Okay? We, the women in the group, we help, we hold the sky. Michelle was our #1 boss lady. You know, she emailed to us her draft letters, printed them, we photocopied them, we gathered signatures, we sent them out, we delivered them at the doorsteps of our neighbors, much to their irritation. Don't care, okay. One of the things that you may not know about Michelle is her, okay, Tita, I will be serious now. One of the things that you might not know about Michelle is her deep piety and her religiosity. She was deeply religious. She absolutely loved Saint Anthony and Saint Expeditius. On our Viber group of the San Jose Wall Defenders, Michelle had made us say virtual communal prayer through the novenas to her favorite saints, to ask their intercession for the cases we have filed at HLURB and at the courts. She also had a deep abiding love for our mother, our Blessed Virgin, Our Lady. This Our Lady of Nuts. Did you see this photo? This painting here? Did you see this? This is
Undoer of Nuts.
This is a painting of Our Lady of Nuts.
Undoer.
Lady Undoer of Nuts. I'm sorry. Okay, Lady Undoer of Nuts. Okay, there. So, thank you. She has made it her mission to propagate the devotion to Our Lady Undoer of Nuts. In fact, she ordered several boxes, several talaga, boxes of our image of Our Lady of Undoer of Nuts from Italy, and we sell the statues at our yearly pop-up bazaar called The Good Stuff. Yes, I am shamelessly doing a commercial plug right now. Please, if you're interested to buy one of those statues in honor of Our Lady and to remember Michelle, please let me know. And our next pop-up is in November 15, 16 at the House of Anna. Okay, Tita Merle. Yes, it is for a good cause. Kaya it's called The Good Stuff. It's for a good cause. It's for the Balete Family Farm School. Okay? Okay, alright. So, Tita Merle specifically instructed me to share with you happy and funny stories of Michelle. My gosh, where do I start? Okay, so let me start with her eyebrows. You remember her eyebrows? From From the day I met her, she has always been proud of her artfully made up eyebrows. She called them her Bella Flores eyebrows. Excuse me. And she made use of those eyebrows really well. I told you I met Michelle in 2015, right? So that same year, despite our opposition, the AVA board illegally demolished, built the gate at the end of San Jose Street, okay? So fast forward today, 4 years later, that gate remains closed. It is still inutile. It is still useless, okay? All right, so only God knows when they can open that gate. Only God. And of course, with Michelle up there, we have a more powerful advocate in heaven, in Michelle. So good luck with that, Brogate. Okay. So anyway, back to Michelle's eyebrows. Michelle and some other like-minded neighbors met a few months ago with the candidates for the election of the AVA board, new governors. This is Michelle's story. I wish I was there. Okay, Michelle told us that she asked the candidate of our district. By the way, we don't know her. We've never seen her. We don't know her face. And hello, you're running? Seriously? And so she asked this woman, we don't know where she lives, so she asked her, what is your stand on the San Jose gate? And then the candidate said, I am against the gate. Ah, okay. So with raised eyebrows, Michelle said, where were you the entire time that we had problems with that stupid gate? It was dividing our village. And that candidate said, ito ang sagot ng candidate. Oh, I was busy with work. You think that made Michelle happy? Of course not. Can you just imagine her eyes exponentially getting bigger and bigger and her eyebrows raising up there? So sinabi niya sa candidate, excuse me, I have work too, and I was busy too, and I did my part. What did you do? Okay, so I'm sure the entire evening her eyebrows remained raised. Okay, so move on. I am sure you agree with me that Michelle's sense of fashion is impeccable. Remember what Anna said earlier? Michelle loved 1920s fashion. Did you know that Michelle possesses the patterns of beautiful vintage gowns and dresses? She got those online. What she does is search online for good dressmakers and sends them to abroad to have them made. Michelle was always well dressed. In fact, one of my batchmates from UP who knew Michelle in Ateneo Law told me that Michelle was always known to be well dressed. That was one of the many things that Michelle and I share. We love fashion, all girly stuff, we love shoes, but there is one thing that Michelle and I our paths will never cross. And what's that? Michelle hated, absolutely abhorred designer bags. She told me, Lucille, utang na loob, super mahal, with one Chanel bag, you can buy a round trip business class ticket to Timbuktu. And I'm like, totoo. And I'm like, Michelle, I'm sorry, I really wanted to lie to you. I really wanted to tell you that all my Chanel bags are fake. But I bought them in green heels. But I couldn't lie to you. Can you lie to Michelle? Have you ever tried lying to Michelle? Of course we can lie to Michelle. But Michelle, seriously, ever since that conversation, I haven't bought a Chanel bag. Promise, Michelle. My husband is very happy with that. Okay, so the last Viber message that Michelle sent me regarding fashion is about the 10 deadly sins against elegance. Ladies, did any of you receive that link? 10 deadly sins against elegance. Oh, so that means to say you have committed 1 or 2 deadly sins against elegance. Kaya hindi niya share yun kasi it's kind of controversial. So anyway, so with that link, we both agreed wala kaming transgression against elegance. Puro kami perfect score. So I forwarded that link to my daughter. She's also a lawyer, and she completely ignored me. So it must be a generational gap, di ba, tita? But Tita Merle, I salute you. You raised your daughter well. Yesterday, we heard about Michelle's travels. Thank you for your sharing. For us, her friends and neighbors, we always look forward to Michelle's arrival from her travels because we would gather in her house and partake of the yummy stuff that she brought home. August 28 was our last get-together with Michelle, feasting on the best ever of her bring-home yumminess, caviar from Turkmenistan. Caviar, can you imagine that? Caviar, deviled eggs, and strawberry-flavored vodka. Michelle, I guess that was our send-off party for you. With caviar, how posh is that? Last May and June, Michelle posted on Instagram photos of me and her. And with the caption, Michelle and Lucille up to no good again. And another caption, partners in crime. So Michelle was my partner in crime. And what was our crime? Our crime was our one-way love affair, unrequited love affair with dance. Because we both suck at it so badly. But unlike me, Michelle was so determined to conquer this most difficult, most unnatural, and mysterious triumvirate of Latin dance called the bachata, the kizomba, and the salsa. She gave her all to learn those three dances. I kid you not. In fact, these three dances supplanted her love for diving. Do you remember that 10-year challenge, that 10-year challenge thingy last year? Michelle posted that 10 years ago, she was into diving. 10 years hence, she's into dancing. When she joined the intense Singapore Bachata weekend last May, just this year, last May, she told me she got bachata overload and she wanted to try something else. That's when she discovered Zouk, okay? Please Google Zouk, Z-O-U-K, Zouk. And she fell in love with Zouk. She Googled Zouk and she found out that formal instruction for Zouk is only available in Malaysia, in KL. So last June, Michelle traveled to KL to learn Zouk. Then last week, she traveled again to KL. Among other reasons, other things, she went to KL to strengthen her familiarity with the dance Zouk. That's Michelle, relentless, focused, passionate, and ultimately, the perfectionist. We will miss you, Michelle. Strangely enough, more than half of us in the core group are not in Manila these days to be here with you. I think this is God's will for us, to give us more time to accept the reality of your departure to eternity before we meet again and say goodbye to you. On October 30, our group agreed to meet for one big group hug to console each other, one big prayerful send-off for you. We love you, Michelle, and please, dance in heaven like everyone is watching. Okay, I will
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ruben Romero. I'm a colleague of Michelle since the early 90s. I worked in Southwest Maritime together with Michelle. So matagal-tagal kaming nagsama. In fact, I've known and I've worked with many members of the Basco family. And it really is sad and comes as a surprise of her sudden passing. We circulated this small tribute to her. I'll just read it for those who haven't, received, this tribute. A bold and vivacious woman who passed away on Monday, the 7th of October at the age of 52. Michelle was born on 18 March 1967 to Captain Vic and Merle Basco. She received her undergraduate degree from the University of the Philippines, her law degree from the Ateneo de Manila, and her master's in law degree from the University of Wales, College of Cardiff. She specialized in maritime law and was a pillar of the Southwest Group, where she worked as legal counsel for 22 years. Michelle was a dedicated advocate and a trusted advisor. She had a passion for travel, painting, and dancing. She was known for her quick wit, outstanding sense of humor, and infectious laughter. Hers was an inimitable spirit that left a deep impression on the lives she touched. Actually, today was the wedding of one of our colleagues, Andrew. It was supposed to be a real happy celebration. I mean, that's why I'm wearing a barong. Arben, our president, stood as the man sending off her younger brother, and it's really sad because Michelle should have been there because for the entire lifetime of our group, Southwest Maritime, she was there. She contributed to the growth of our group, and we really counted on her, especially on advice, legal advice. In our group, nag-iisang babae siya, and she held her own, and she wasn't afraid to speak her mind, and she wasn't afraid to offer contrarian views. She wasn't afraid she didn't back down on things that we wanted her to say, but that's what she was, and that's how she contributed to our growth. So, Michelle, we're going to miss you so much. We thank you for what you have done for Southwest. We love you, and we know that you are in a better place with Captain Basco and with Vivian. Thank you very much.
Okay, so now I'd like to invite our cousin Gigi Martinez, sorry. Yes, you're married na pala. Thank you, Lisa. Good evening po, Tita Mer, and to the siblings of Michelle. Okay, my friendship with Michelle didn't end the way it started. I have to say that my meeting Michelle was imposed. Magpinsan po kami ni Michelle. Yung daddy ni Michelle at ang mami ko po, ayun, nandun po ang mami ko, the Basco matriarch now, kasi siya na yung pinakamatanda. Magpinsan pong buo sila, and they were very close as cousins. And they both wanted their children to be close to each other. Growing up, we didn't see much of each other, but when we were in college, my mom and Michelle's dad, Tito Vic, suddenly just decided na Michelle daw will stay with us kasi we were living here in Alabang and we were living near UP. So, mag-UP si Michelle, sabi ni Tito Vic, dyan muna titira sa inyo. Di syempre. Sorry ha, I have to say this, but I'm not worried because I told Michelle this several times. Laki po kami ng probinsya. Kami po ay mga taga Batangas. At lahat po sila magkakapatid, mga Inglesera po. Tapos, pag nakita niyo po sila, pag nagdadamit, lahat po sila sosyal. So, kami ni Lelen, ang kasama ko po dun sa bahay, si Lelen, yung sister ko, at saka yung bunso namin si Dixon, lahat kami nagtinginan. But we were just very obedient children. We weren't close then. And the times we were with Tito Vic's children, we were sort of intimidated by them kasi nga puro sila English speaking. Mga Inglesera, lahat kami nag-nosebleed. Of course, having lived in the province since birth, di kami sanay to be in the company of Ingleseras. So we dreaded the fact that one of the children will be staying with us. Anyway, I don't feel guilty kasi I told this Michelle already before. Every time she would come home from school, si Lelen, ako, at saka si Dixon, tatakbo na kami sa kwarto. Kasi nga nasusosyalan kami sa kanya. So, when I was telling Michelle this story, she kept on laughing. Kasi sabi niya, it was a good thing daw that we didn't talk to her that much kasi she was forced to study kasi wala siyang makausap sa bahay. And she was even inspired to take up law because of us. Yun ang sabi niya sa akin, ha? But this English-speaking thing was a misconception. And this goes for the rest of her siblings. They may act, speak, or look social. Definitely, they look social. But they are all down to earth, fun to be with, humble, simple human beings, gifted with beautiful smiles and kind hearts. Sila po yung klase ng tao na hindi pa tapos yung joke, tumatawa na sila. Ganon sila kabait. And through the years, being with them was such a great treat kasi we had so much to talk about and laugh about. Well, Michelle was funny also. And whenever we talked, we often just laugh loudly together, even in a restaurant. One night in Starbucks, Alabang, 3 hours kami magkasama, she boasted of her niece, Ina, graduating top of her class from Leeds University. I saw in her such great pride. And so I asked her, "Oh, what gift naman did you give Ina?" Siyempre, nag-i-English na rin ako. Nakibagay. Sabi ko, dapat binigyan mo siya ng cash. Ang yaman-yaman mo eh. To which she proudly said, "Of course!" Okay? Naririnig niyo ba si Michelle sa akin? "Of course! I gave her $200. Sabi ko, $200? Parang, kumunti lang yun. Summa cum laude, $200. Yeah, I gave her $200 for graduating summa cum laude and $2,000 for beating her dad." For those who don't know, sorry, kasi sa Basco daw nakukuha na yung kay Ina eh. Si Mike po kasi yung dad ni Ina graduated magna cum laude lang. Pero heartthrob po yan sa UP noong. Pati nga ako eh, tumitingin-tingin dyan eh. Di bale, napapunta ka naman sa pinsan ko. Okay. Sa Basco ka rin bumagsak. Okay. Michelle was fearless. Last May, my sister Lelen, siya yun po, threw a Thanksgiving party for her daughter Jamie, who graduated summa cum laude in UP. Sila lang ni Tita Merle ang nag-attend. My sister, the one in blue, also graduated summa cum laude 30 years ago. We only invited relatives from my mother's side, the Bascos, and relatives from my dad's side, the Berberabes. My dad's side, fortunately and unfortunately, 17 po silang magkakapatid. So you can just imagine that in the 12 tables there, 10 were occupied by the Berberabes. 1 was occupied by the Bascos, and 1 was occupied by close family friends. Michelle was chosen to speak for the Bascos, and as expected, hindi nagpatalo si Michelle. Kahit kukunti ang Basco, without any fear, and with full confidence, sabi niya, yung pagiging summa cum laude ni Jamie, yung pamangkin ko, yon Basco yon. Hindi sa inyo. Siyempre, yung mga kamag-anak ko, bebera, ay nakanganalang sa kanya. Sabay nagtanong, sino ba yun? And she cited Lelen and Ina, kasi yun daw, basta may explanation siya, pointing that she got it from the Bascos. So, tinayo niyang bandera. Okay. Well, Michelle, she wouldn't settle. If she believed in something, she wouldn't settle for anything less. She had suitors, but she wouldn't settle for just any guy unless he was worthy. She would not conform to what society may expect of her. And wow, how she embraced her single life with so much grace. It was her choice. She always told me she got her strong personality and straightforwardness from the Basco side. She often told me she was the junior of my mom, one strong woman. Yun po ito. Yan. Mami, o yan, Hitler yan ng bata kami. Talaga naman, okay. So, Michelle was highly opinionated. Oh, that's my Michelle. I state one sentence and she would have one paragraph of her opinions on the matter, complete with citations. But you have to listen to her opinions as she presents a fresh perspective on things. But more importantly, even if she was highly opinionated, Michelle was also a good listener. She would listen intently to my stories and remember the details I have conveyed years before. And gustong-gusto ko si Michelle kasi bentang-benta sa kanya mga jokes ko. But kami po, ako si Michelle and one other lady lawyer, Uni, yan, lagi kaming nagla-lunch until recently lang na hindi na masyado kasi partnay ang biyahe ng dalawang yan. Hirap na hirap po ako sa kanilang dalawa kasi pareho silang alpha females. So ako ang ginagawa ko na lang tagapagpatawa nila dahil silang dalawang laging nagbabakbakan. But we were very good friends. We talked about anything and everything under the sun, right? Unique. Between us, me and Michelle, wala kaming hiyaan. Every year on our birthdays, we would tell each other what we wanted as birthday gifts. While I constantly asked for scrapbooking stuff, her wish lists were diverse. Kaya I know what passion she had for that year kasi yun yung hihingi niya sa akin for her birthday. A couple of years, puro paints and yung framed canvas yung hinihingi niya sa akin. Then, pinapunta niya ako ng Divisoria para bumili ng mga plant hangers and containers na, yung gardening niya na nandun na hindi ko na nakita. And in the last 2 years, dahil dancing naman ang nahiligan niya, puro essential oil ang hiningi niya sa akin. Sabi niya, and she calls me ate. Lisa, does she call you ate? No. So that means I look older than you. Kaya call mo sa akin ate. Sabi niya sa akin, at Gigi, I need oil. Kasi kukunti lang yung binibigay ni Pixie sa akin. Tinitipid niya ako kasi mahal daw yon. Sabi niya, bigyan mo ako. Kasi sumasakit na yung likod ko sa kakikembo.
Michelle na Michelle. So, Michelle.
Okay. Medyo nakuha ko na po yung expression nito sa salita, no? Michelle wanted to learn watercolor painting. Go kami sa watercolor classes. Kasama namin si Tita Nena Rivera. We tried acrylic painting, so go kami naman sa sip and go. She wanted me to join her in her devotion to Mary, undoer of knots. Buy ako from her ng statues na she imported pa from abroad and downloaded the entire story about Mama Mary, the undoer of nuts. May magaling siyang dermatologist, go ako sa dermatologist niya. May nagustuhan siyang gown ko, go siya sa designer ko. May kailangan akong get up sa 70s party, sa kanya ako hihiram ng damit. We also shared the love for photography and pictures, and I have been constantly nagging her to make photo books for all her travels. Dalawa lang hindi ko napagbigyan kay Michelle. Hindi ako makapunta sa bahay niyo to paint together kasi takot ako sa aso niya. She found them beautiful. Sorry. Gusto ko yung mga fluffy-fluffy na parang mga pigeon. Sorry, Michelle. Sorry. And number 2, this bachata thing. Sorry, Michelle. I love dancing, but this bachata is too sensual for me. I often told her, "Hoy, mother, baka mabuntis ka dyan kahit nanabos ka na, ha?" Actually, nung birthday po niya, umattend po ako nung birthday niya, kami ni Maring Unico, umattend kami nung bachata party niya. We weren't there kasi we were all grieving for Vivian, but you know, Michelle, sabi niya, I want to celebrate every day. So sabi niya, ano, Gigi, bigyan kita ng DI. Eh, nung pinapanood ko yung sayo, sabi ko, Michelle, pass mo na ako. Menopause na ako, baka ako magka-menstruation ulit. Okay. If Vilma Santos is the star for all seasons, Michelle is our star for all ages. I noticed that she could relate with the oldies down to the young ones. She could connect with the friends of Tito Vic and Tita Merle, kahit yung mga tea parties ni Tita Merle, na nire-recruit nila ako. She had a great number of different set of friends whom she maintained close contact with. That's difficult. And she connected well with her nephews and nieces, my children, the children of her friends. Can you imagine? Dalawa po kami ni Unique may special child. Pareho kami may child with autism. And Michelle connected well with them. So, for people na ayaw nang nakikipag-connect, she connected well with them. And I appreciated Michelle because she made the extra effort to be into my life, to be in the lives of many here. She made us all feel that we were special. And ngayon, iniisip ko, sayang, hindi ko na alam. Sana we will still see each other often kasi si Michelle was my line to all of you. I really hope so. Above all, what I appreciated about Michelle is that she cared. She had a very big heart. She cared much about Tita Merle. She cared so much about Paeng. Sobrang dami niyang hinikwento sa akin tungkol sa'yo. Kung paano kanyang pinipwersang i-date mo siya. Kawawang bata. And how she related, she cared for all her pamangkins. She cared so much about her siblings kahit siguro hindi niya nafe-feel. She would often ask me about my boys kasi she knows of my mommy challenges. When Vivian was sick, she called me and updated me of Vivian's condition. And then she told me, Ate Gigi, binana ko ni Pixie sa hospital. Kasi ini-stress ko raw si Vivian. Sabi niya gano'n. Tapos sabi ko, ano ba nangyari? Ano ba sinabi mo? So, she narrated to me lahat. Sabi ko, ay mother, huwag ka nang bumalik sa ospital, nakaka-stress ka talaga. So, but she cared so much about her sister, Vivian. She wanted to help. But being the Basco side of Michelle somehow stressed others. She doesn't like drama eh. So she would think with her mind and not her heart. And in times of crisis, medyo gusto niya yung iniisip, yung what can I do? How can I give a cure? How can I find the cure? Etc. So, Cass, sorry ha, na-stress si Vivian. It's only because she loved her so much. Come to think of it, Michelle wouldn't want the drama I did last Thursday, no? Actually, sabi niya, nag-drama yan. And so, I promised, hindi ako iiyak pa rin. On the first week of September of this year, Tita Merle and Michelle went to the house. She drove Tita Merle from Alabang to Makati just to see my scrap room. My room filled with arts and crafts, tools and materials, which Michelle wanted me to get Tita Merle interested and hooked in scrapbooking, since she wanted Tita Merle to be busy with something, as she was nursing the pain of losing Vivian. How thoughtful of Michelle, I told myself. Well, that's Michelle. She lived her life fully indeed. She lived her life the way she wanted it. But it seems that this mortal world ran out of new things to offer Michelle, and so now she is off to her greatest adventure in the immortal world. I love you, Michelle. I loved your style. I loved your guts. I loved your love for life. Above all, I loved that you were imposed by God as a cousin, but chosen by me as my very good friend. I will miss you, my dear.
Good evening. I'm an in-law, Mike, married to Pixie. In the Basco family, the in-laws are really not supposed to talk, to speak, in the dinner table or anywhere else out there. So this is a rare moment, historic maybe, once in a lifetime, depending on how this turns out. By the way, Gigi, English to, no? Kasi requirement yan sa Basco family. Sorry. According to my mother-in-laws, I speak on behalf of my in-laws, I mean, my co-in-laws. According to my mother-in-law, I'm the favorite son-in-law. In BGC Taguig, 25th and 4th Avenue to be exact. Outside of that, Cass, who is married to Vivian, is the favorite son-in-law within the Philippines. And outside of the Philippines, JC, married to Lisa, is the favorite son-in-law in North America. Tina, however, is the favorite daughter-in-law globally because she has no competition. Anyway, I will keep this short. No? I met Michelle in college. We became friends, and because of that, I ended up going to Alabang with other friends and ended up going to her house. No? And that's how I met Pixie. So if not for Michelle, I wouldn't have met Pixie. So thank you, Michelle, first of all. Of course, Pixie had a boyfriend at that time. So it took a few years, but thank you, Michelle, nonetheless. I just want to mention three things that really for me stood out about Michelle. And this is from experiences I've had with her. The first thing, in college, one of the things I did for her is I changed her flat tire. She drove a car, she didn't know how to change a flat tire, so I did it for her. And when I changed it, I noticed the wheels were rusting, and her wipers did not have the rubber anymore. It scratched her. So I said, Michelle, aren't you going to change that? Sabi niya, gastos pa yan. It wasn't her car. And so, throughout her life, I think that's, what stood out is she never was really into the material things. No? She had money, by the way. Tito Arvin Santos paid her a lot, especially for the time she spends at work. But money to her was just a way to experience things, to travel, as everyone talked about. She did not own a property, I think. And even in later life, I'm not sure if she owned a car anymore. She would take Grab and go B2B. Travel, no property, no car. Basically, she was a millennial even before the millennials were born. Second thing, I think, is her friends. No? Diverse set of friends. I think the last 3 days we've seen that. From her high school friends, her law school, friends as well, colleagues at work. She had a diving group, she had a yoga group, she had recently a dancing group. People from Alabang who bake gates. But what surprised me the most was how close she was to these different tribes that she belonged to. No? And the only explanation I can really have for this is that, for Michelle, it's about time, the time she spent with these people. I had friends who I knew way before Michelle knew them, and she became closer to them. And that's because she spent time with these people. Again, she had a lot of time in her work, no? But she made the most use of it, with her friends. The third thing is that, and the last thing is that, Michelle was always comfortable in her own skin, in the choices she made in life. In her career, she was a great maritime lawyer, successful. But at the same time, she would always say some of her peers in law school had become partners in law firms, in corporates or in government. But she said for her, it was always her choice to have the balance that she wanted. It wasn't about being a prominent lawyer or successful in that sense. She was very comfortable being single. She had her boyfriends. We won't talk about that tonight, but she was comfortable with that. She was very comfortable in the way she looked, I think we all know here that she wore a girdle, right? Which eventually evolved into Spanx. But it's not because she was insecure about the way she looked. She had, she thought of herself as being very beautiful and sexy. Sexy, she was. And the proof is that, how they say dog owners choose the breed that reflects their self-image? She owned whippets. Out of all the breeds, she chose the thinnest dogs possible. And she was comfortable in her character. So I think Gigi and, I don't know if any of you have argued with Michelle, but it's not a good thing. As I said, in the dinner table, the in-laws, we don't say anything. So all I do is I just throw in a comment there to stir the pot, and I sit back and watch the cockfight begin. And I argued occasionally with Michelle about many things, politics, etc. And she was feisty, right? She wouldn't back down from a fight. But if there's one person I would want to have when there's a war, in the foxhole with me, that's Michelle. because you know that she's never going to leave you. Notwithstanding the fact that she probably started the war. Anyway. So, when Fitz and I went to KL, we were there, Michelle had passed, trying to make sense out of the whole thing, and I just came across her Facebook, which, it's hard to find because her name is not her name. But she has a little, status or something. And to me, it sums up really her whole thing. Right? It says, to live in one place is to bury yourself alive. So you can look at it. And to me, it's a nomadic saying, apparently. And to me, that's really how Michelle lived her life and how she left us as well. So, Michelle, maritime lawyer, one of the best, traveler extraordinaire, loyal friend, daughter, sister-in-law, actually just sister. We will miss you.
Okay, now that's really such a hard act to follow from Gigi to Mike and now me. So I hope you'll forgive me if I read. And I have to read because I don't know if I'll be able to finish. So good evening. It's hard to believe that I'm back home again after a mere 7 months to pay tribute and say goodbye to another beloved sister. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Lisa. I'm the eldest of the Basco siblings. Last March 3rd, we said goodbye to our youngest sister, Vivian. Oh my gosh, sorry. Now malabo na ng mata. Our youngest sister, Vivian, after a painful and excruciating battle against cancer. And today, we say goodbye to my second sister, my first best friend, and sometimes fiercest enemy, especially when we were growing up. It's hard to believe that Michelle is gone. With Vivian, we had time to prepare for it, time to accept her impending death. Michelle completely took us by surprise and shook us to the core. It felt like a punch in the gut and led us to cry, why? Why another death, another sister in such a short period of time? Can't imagine our sorrow and our pain as a family devastated by these back-to-back losses. Michelle was vibrant, larger than life, a force to be reckoned with. Even as a little child, Michelle was loud, bossy, and a fighter. She knew what she wanted and pursued it with a passion that was actually very scary at times. One of our most vivid memory of Michelle was when she was about 7 or 8 years old. We were all watching TV, and Michelle wanted to change the channel. So we all refused and shouted her down, saying, hey, no, majority rules. Mom and Dad were out that evening, and we were at home with the yaya. We continued watching TV, and when we heard this loud scream, ah! We turned and saw little Michelle wielding a bolo. No joke. She had a bolo in her hand and ran after us, and all of us, including the yaya, ran out of the house. Sorry. Yeah, that was Michelle for you. And when we watched, snuck in and looked in the window. We saw Michelle smile, put the bola down, and changed the channel and watched it. Took a while for us to go back in. Being a year younger than me, Michelle was super competitive. When I would get a red eagle in San Agustin, she would make sure she would get a gold eagle the next grading period. When I became secretary in student government in my senior year, she would run for president and win the following year. She always pushed herself to be the best, and she did it with great glee and triumph. But her competitiveness and know-it-all attitude would sometimes backfire. One time we were all eating ice cream, and I said, "Hey, let's have a race to see who can finish that ice cream first." And we were ready, set, go. And she had like this, all the ice cream dripping on her, and she finished it, goes, "Yay, I won!" And I said, "Ha, I still have mine." Another time, I told her, "Hey, Michelle, did you know that gullible is not in the English dictionary?" And she looked at me, and with her signature taray look said, "I knew that." Michelle never wanted to show any sign of weakness. She was tough as nails and hardly showed her pain or sorrow. She believed in positive thinking, was always putting on a brave face. If she cried, she would immediately wash her face, fix herself up, square her shoulders, and walk out as if nothing ever happened. I used to secretly admire her determination to face whatever life sent her way and approach it with her practical, no-nonsense approach. Of course, I never told her that, lest I suffer her triumphant, "I told you so." She was also stubborn and didn't want anyone to tell her what to do. She would do anything only when she wanted, and only when she wanted, and if she wanted to do it. She was not one to do things to please others. She had great integrity that way. Not an ounce of phoniness in Michelle. She was loud, opinionated, and enjoyed a great argument. Even if it cost her enemies or infuriated us, she didn't care. She stood by her convictions and courageously stood her ground, and I always admired her for that. But beneath that tough exterior and determined attitude was a soft side that she tried to hide, even from us, members of her family. Unbeknownst to us, Michelle had a deep faith and prayer life that only came to fore, that we only found out really when Vivian got sick. She made Mom believe that she had fallen away from her faith and refused to go to Mass when Mom asked her. Her ninong, Lito Filamor, gave her a book, this book, called Rediscover Jesus, about 4 years ago. And she told him that it really opened her eyes to the love of Christ. She told Tito Lito that this was the book that led her to a robust return to the faith. But typical Michelle, she refused to show her renewed faith to anyone, especially Mom. When Vivian got sick, Michelle immediately organized her family and friends to pray to Saint Expeditius, a 9-hour novena prayed nonstop for Vivian. I have to admit that even I had a hard time completing that novena. But Michelle was faithful and persistent. Even when she was out of the country, she never failed to send a vibrant message to everyone, reminding them to pray the novena. She had a great devotion to Our Lady Untired of Knots, prayed the rosary daily, and in the last few months we found out that she actually went to daily Mass. When I was home earlier this year, Michelle took me out shopping and then proceeded to bring me to Mass in this really dingy, hot, makeshift chapel in Pure Gold Mall in Alabang. You guys are familiar with that. So where we were, surrounded by the changgit vendors, selling slippers, cell phones, fake Louis Vuitton bags. And Michelle insisted that we go to Mass there. When I asked her why she went to Mass there instead of the beautiful air-conditioned churches of St. James or Santa Susana, she said, "Ay, ayaw ko dyan. Daming bakarte. At least here I can pray surrounded by simple, humble people who love Christ with a childlike faith." But really, I think part of the reason Michelle did this is also because she didn't want anyone to know how much she loved her faith. Lest my mom starts pushing her to go to Mass, adoration, retreats, etc. She didn't want to be forced to do anything. She loved and worshiped God in her quiet but faithful way. Michelle was also very compassionate and generous. She gave to charities but insisted on anonymity and secrecy. She used to watch the news like TV Patrol and be touched by some sob stories of someone in dire need of help in PGH, and she would send money anonymously. When news traveled that Michelle died, so many people reached out to us and told us how she had helped them, either financially or through advice. Again, she insisted on people keeping quiet, and she used to scoff when she had to give money to others, saying, "Hi, pera lang yan. That's nothing. I can earn it back." But she never wanted to boast of her generosity. She truly believed in Jesus' words,